It is the year 63 BC, and the stale air inside this wooden legionary stable reeks of wet straw, nervous animal musk, and impending annihilation of a royal dynasty. The coarse fibers of hemp rope bite deep into wrists that, until 9 days ago, had known only the touch of woven silk and gold bands. Cassia is 26 years old, and through the thin wooden slats of stall, she listens to the terrified weeping of her two younger sisters. They are not screaming yet, but they are making a high, thin sound to prey that senses the predator closing in, the sound of young women who have realized that their royal blood will not save them, but will instead be the very reason for their destruction. Just over a week ago, she was Princess Cassia Pontus, the eldest daughter of King Mithridates, a woman educated in the philosophy of Greece and the poetry of Persia, betrothed to an Armenian prince whose alliance would have secured an empire stretching from the Caucasus Mountains to the Euphrates River. Today, she kneels in the filth of a Roman camp, her ceremonial robe shredded and stained with mud, her dark hair matted with dried blood from a scalp wound that no one has tended to. Around her, Roman legionaries move with the terrifying, casual efficiency of men performing a routine task, checking knots, testing leather restraints, and leading massive animals into position. To them, she is not a human being. She is a component in a machine of terror they are building. Through the gaps in the wood, she catches a glimpse of the adjacent stall. Her sister Leodice, only 19, is lashed to a central post, her arms wrenched behind her back, her body forced into a painful arch, her face wet with tears she cannot wipe away. In the stall beyond, 18-year-old Nisa, barely more than child, is bound in a similar fashion, trembling so violently that Cassia can see the vibrations of her small frame from 30 feet away. And in each stall, Cassia sees the instrument of their coming torture. The Romans have brought in the cavalry stallions, massive war-trained beasts selected for their size and aggression, held in check by handlers who know exactly what violence these animals are capable of when released upon a bound victim. Cassia knows this punishment. Every kingdom bordering the expanding Roman Republic knows it, whispered in fear as a warning to anyone considering rebellion. The Romans have many names for it, depending on the commander and the context. Sometimes used as a public spectacle to cow a defeated army, sometimes conducted in the privacy of a camp for the dark amusement of the officers. But the elements are always the same. Women of high status bound and defenseless, and animals used to violate and destroy them. It always ends the same way. This is the fate prepared for her sisters. Leodice and Nisa, whose only crime was being born to a king who dared to challenge Rome's dominion over the eastern trade routes, who won 3 great battles before the 4th destroyed him and delivered his daughters into the hands of General Lucius Cornelius Crassus. Crassus. She repeats the name in her mind, adding it to a mental ledger she has been compiling since the moment of her capture. She has been memorizing names, ranks, and the structure of command in this camp. Information is the only weapon she has left, and she gathers it with the frantic intensity of a woman who knows that knowledge is the only shield standing between her sisters and the horror waiting in the stalls. A man steps into the stable, the light from the entrance silhouetting his frame. He appears to be in his 50s, wearing the decorated armor of a senior commander, his face etched with the lines of hard campaigns. He surveys the scene not with the sadism of a madman, but with the cold, detached eye of an engineer inspecting a project. This is General Crassus. She remembers him from the surrender, from the moment her father was forced to his knees. Crassus turns to the subordinate officer and gives the order. Take the youngest one first, for her screams will serve to terrify the others. Nisa they intend to start with Nisa. A shift occurs deep within Cassia. The paralyzing fear that has gripped her since the chains were first applied does not vanish, but it is shoved aside by a primal, protective instinct that is far older and stronger. She has spent her life standing between her sisters and the world. She taught Leodice to read when the tutors lost patience. She held Nisa through the night terrors after their mother passed. She has been their shield against the intrigues of the court and the demands of their father. She will not fail them now. She calls out the general's name. Her voice is steadier than she thought possible, slicing to the murmur of the soldiers and the stamping of hooves. She demands to speak with him. Crassus turns, his expression pivoting from indifference to mild curiosity. Prisoners, especially those moments away from execution or torture, rarely speak with such authority. He approaches her stall and asks what a Pontic princess could possibly have to say that would interest a Roman conqueror. Cassia makes her offer immediately, a trade that will benefit him far more than the momentary satisfaction of watching children suffer. She sees a spark of interest in his cold eyes. Romans are, above all, pragmatic. Even their cruelty is transactional, serving to intimidate or entertain. If she can offer a commodity of higher value, she might be able to redirect the violence onto herself. She tells him to take her instead. She offers to endure everything planned for all three of them. She is older. She argues stronger. She will last longer, providing a greater spectacle. Crassus studies her, calculating the exchange rates of suffering. He counters that her sisters are younger, perhaps more appealing to the depraved tastes of his men, and asks why he should accept one victim when he holds three, because, Cassia says, she holds the keys to the kingdom's lost wealth. She claims knowledge of the treasure Cassius her father hid before the final defeat, the names of the Roman officers he bribed, and the secret supply routes established with the Parthian Empire. She has gambled with her life now, weaving a tapestry of truth and lies, hoping that Roman greed is stronger than Roman lust. She promises him intelligence that will make his career and fortune, but only if her sisters are granted genuine safety. Not death in another form, but life. She warns him that she knows the arts of poison and swift death. If he tries to torture the truth from her, she will die before he learns a word. But if he accepts her terms, he gains everything. She watches the general process this. Seeing the ambition war with the cruelty, he asks if she understands the horror of the punishment she is volunteering for, the horses, the public nature of it, the duration. She confirms she understands. He adds a cruel condition. Her sisters must watch. They will witness what she endures for them, so they understand the price of their survival. Cassia's stomach turns, but she forces herself to nod. She bargains for their future. They must be sent to Rome, to a noble household, treated as guests and not slaves. The historical records have been sanitized over 2,000 years. Roman chroniclers wrote of triumphs and gold, but they rarely detailed the specific, industrialized degradation inflicted upon the women of defeated dynasties. Tonight, we strip away that sanitization. You will learn that the use of animals in the punishment of royal women was not random sadism, but a calculated tool of psychological warfare designed to annihilate bloodlines and prove Rome's absolute dominance. You'll understand the hierarchy of suffering and why generals like Crassus believed such atrocities were necessary to break the spirit of conquered nations. You will see the impossible arithmetic of sacrifice forced upon women like Cassia. Subscribe now if you want to understand the true cost of Roman victory, and comment below with your location, because we are about to return to that stable to see exactly how Cassia's gamble plays out. The Roman use of sexual violence and animals was strategic. Eastern kingdoms like Pontus were sophisticated civilizations. To keep them conquered, Rome felt it necessary to humiliate their ruling families so thoroughly that they could never again serve as symbols of resistance. A princess publicly degraded by beasts could never be a queen. She became a living symbol of her nation's impotence. This was the system Cassia was fighting against. Back in the stable, the soldiers approached Cassia with their ropes and knives. They cut away her ruined robes, the blade chilling her skin. As they begin to bind her for the animals, a new voice cuts through the tension. Wait! It is not Crassus. Cassia twists her head to see a younger officer, a tribune named Marcus Antonius Priscus. He looks at the scene not with lust, but with calculation. He pulls the general aside and speaks in a low, urgent tone. He argues that if Cassia dies or goes mad under the torture of the horses, the intelligence regarding the hidden treasury and the Parthian routes will be lost. He suggests a different path. Delay the entertainment. Extract the information first. Keep the sisters safe as leverage to ensure she cooperates. If she believes her sisters are safe, she will talk. Crassus listens, weighing the immediate gratification of cruelty against the long-term benefit of gold and strategy. He agrees. He orders the preparations halted and commands that the princess be moved to the officers' quarters for interrogation. Cassia feels a wave of nausea, relief mixed with lingering terror. She looks at Tribune Priscus. She does not see a savior, but she sees a man who thinks, a man she can use. She files his name in her ledger. In the officer's tent, surrounded by the comforts of command, Cassius sits before a map. Priscus demands a location of the treasuries. Cassia begins a dangerous game she has prepared for. She gives him the location of a vault in Sinope that she knows the Romans have already found, a truth to establish credibility. She sketches a map to a cave system near Amisos, claiming it holds hundreds of talents of gold. This is real. She is spending her kingdom's legacy to buy her sister's lives. Then she begins to mix in the fiction, inventing a third treasury hidden with Parthian allies, a lie complex enough to require time to verify. Every day the Romans spend verifying her intel is a day her sisters remain safe. She tells Priscus about the bribed Roman officers, protecting the names to ensure her continued value. Priscus looks at her with a dawning respect. He realizes she is not just a captive, but a player in the game. He leaves her to draw her maps. Cassia realizes that Priscus is ambitious. If she can help him advance his career with her intelligence, he will have a selfish reason to protect her and her sisters. Self-interest is far more reliable than mercy. The weeks pass. A routine emerges. Mornings are for interrogation, where she feeds him a steady diet of truth and plausible lies. Afternoons, she is allowed to visit her sisters. Leodice and Nisa are recovering physically, but the fear remains. Leodice asks what happens when the information runs out. Cassia replies that she will find new ways to be useful. As a translator, a scribe, an expert on the East, she tells them they must think like Romans now, weighing every transaction. Nisa breaks down, saying she would rather die than let Cassia suffer for them. Cassia is harsh in her love. You do not get to make that choice. I have already made it. She forbids him from wasting her sacrifice. 3 weeks later, Priscus brings news. The Senate in Rome has taken an interest in her intelligence regarding Parthia. They have ordered her transported to Rome for formal questioning. Crassus is furious at losing his prize, but he cannot defy the Senate. However, the danger is not over. Priscus warns her. Crassus demands a final ceremony before they leave. He has been denied his torture, so he demands a public submission. Cassia must kneel before the army and acknowledge his absolute power. It is a small price. At dawn, in the center of the camp, Cassia walks out in a simple white tunic. Thousands of soldiers watch. Crassus stands on a platform, preening in his armor. He announces to the legions that the Pontic princess is there to beg for her life. Cassia performs her role perfectly. She kneels on the sharp stones. She speaks the words of submission Priscus gave her. She crawls on her belly to Crassus's feet and kisses his dusty boots while her sisters watch. It is a burning humiliation, a stain on her soul, but as she rises, she knows she has won. She has bought their ticket to Rome. The journey takes 6 weeks. As they approach the capital, Priscus warns her of the triumph. They will be paraded through the streets. The crowds will be drunk and hateful. He teaches her a mental technique, to retreat inside her mind, to see without seeing. The triumph is a nightmare. They walk in heavy chains, half naked, pelted with rotten vegetables and stones. The mob screams obscenities, detailing what they would like to do to the foreign women. Nisa stumbles and falls on the cobblestones. The crowd roars with laughter. A soldier raises a whip, but Cassia throws her body over her sister. She stares down the soldier, warning him that if he damages the general's prize captive, he will pay for it. The soldier backs down. Cassia helps Nisa up, and the 3 sisters cling to each other, a single unit of defiance marching to the hatred. They survive the triumph. In the years that follow, survival takes a new form. Housed in the villa of Senator Rufus, a patron of Priscus, Cassia becomes an indispensable asset. She translates documents, advises on Eastern politics, and navigates the complex social networks of the elite. She is a prisoner, but a high-status one. Her sisters adapt. Leodice runs a household. Nisa discovers a talent for music that charms Roman society. Priscus, climbing the political ladder, visits often. He and Cassius share a cold, clear understanding of their alliance. 5 years later, Priscus brings an opportunity. Senator Rufus needs an heir. He suggests adopting Leodice, marrying her to a Roman noble to secure Eastern trade connections. It is a path to citizenship, to safety that does not depend on Cassius' intelligence. It takes 2 years of maneuvering, but Cassia orchestrates the adoption. She watches as Leonidas takes the vows of a Roman daughter. One sister saved. Nyssa follows a different path, becoming a celebrated musician, independent and wealthy, protected by her famed 2 sisters saved. Only Cassia remains in the gray zone of the useful captive. Finally, in her 40th year, after Senator Rufus dies, Cassia makes her move. With Priscus, now a powerful senator, arguing her case, she renegotiates her status. She has served Rome for 14 years. On the summer solstice, the Senate grants her formal freedom. There is no crowd, only a quiet ceremony. Cassia weeps, not from sorrow, but from the sudden, crushing weight of liberty. She lives out her days in Rome, a respected advisor and friend of the Senate. She never marries. The years of living on a knife's edge have left her unable to share her life with a stranger, but she has her sisters. She watches their children grow. She dies at 63, holding their hands. At her funeral, a senator eulogizes her not as a conquered princess, but as a woman who defeated Rome's cruelty with her mind. Her sisters, Leonidas and Nyssa, live into old age, telling her story to their Roman grandchildren. They remember the woman who bargained with monsters in a stable and won. Remember Cassia. Remember that when offered a choice between her own safety and her sisters' lives, she chose to walk into the fire. She knew exactly what the horses meant, what the torture would be, and she offered herself anyway. She proves that the daughters of defeated kings were not merely victims in the margins of history, but warriors fighting a different kind of battle. Subscribe for more hidden histories. Comment with your thoughts on her choice, and share this story so that Cassia's sacrifice is never forgotten. Remember what Rome tried to do to them, and remember what they did to save each other.